Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Lights, camera, innovation. Walt Disney Studios chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business to transform the movie-making process. Together, we kept a remote production hub in Hawaii in sync with a team in California to bring Lilo and Stitch to theaters this summer. This is picture-perfect collaboration. This is Walt Disney Studios with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
This is the Daily Blast from the New Republic, produced and presented by the DSR Network. I'm your host, Greg Sargent. As you've surely heard by now, the feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk has erupted, with the two men trading attacks on each other for hours. As of this recording, the last big things to happen are that Trump threatened to cut off all government contracts to Musk's companies, and Musk then dropped what he called a big bomb, which is that Trump is in the Epstein files. Musk also called for Trump to be impeached. What strikes us about this feud, though, is that each one accidentally revealed just how corrupt they really are. And this also provided a weirdly revealing glimpse into the soul of MAGA, into how fundamentally empty and hollow it all is. There's nothing there. Nothing is ever real. Today we're lucky to be digging through this muck with someone who dissects the pathologies of MAGA like no one else alive, former GOP strategist turned never-Trumper Rick Wilson. Thanks for coming on, Rick.
Hey, thanks, Greg. Thanks for having me. It's been a hell of a day.
Sure has. Well, let's quickly do the background here. Elon Musk criticized the big, beautiful bill that has passed the House and that Trump now wants the Senate to pass. Musk called it a disgusting abomination that will explode the deficit. Musk kept it up, and then Trump finally unloaded. Let's start with this. Listen.
People leave my administration, and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly, and some of them embrace it, and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it. But we have it with others, too. They leave, and they wake up in the morning, and the glamour's gone. The whole world is different, and they become hostile. I don't know what it is.
Musk countered that by saying that without him, Trump wouldn't have won the election, adding, "Such ingratitude." What strikes me, Rick, is that Trump accusing Musk of Trump derangement syndrome is basically treating Musk, who spent $250 million to elect Trump, like just some common troll. What do you make of that?
Look, you know, when I shuffle off this mortal coil at some point, I will be remembered for one rule: everything Trump touches dies. And for as smart as Elon is, supposedly, the idea that he never heard this rule or didn't understand that Trump is a man with no loyalty to anyone ever, that no vow, obligation, oath, promise, relationship, contract, deal is ever anything but fungible and ephemeral with Trump, was insane. And so, you know, look, Elon is not going to be in a happy place here for a lot of reasons. The Trump people are going to try to screw him on his contracts and things like that. But it's really hard for me to mount a whole big pity party for this guy who jumped into bed with Trump. You know, was he living in a cave before this? Was he in orbit somewhere? No, he was a human being on the planet Earth. He had to know who Donald Trump was.
Talk about getting fleas. So, Rick, you do think that they're going to really go after Musk's contracts? What does that look like?
They're going to try to go after SpaceX. They're going to try to go after Starlink. Because this is the kind of thing that Trump will do because he thinks it's like a power move against Elon. And the problem for Trump And I say this advisedly, Elon Musk may be a freak and a weird white supremacist and a neo-Nazi, all that other crap, and a ketamine junkie, all that other crap. But his company made this rocket called the Falcon. And the Falcon is the backbone of the American space program, the backbone of the American military space program. It's a fucking great rocket, and we use them every day, and there is no substitute. There is no other thing out there in the market. Trump will say, oh, we've got to do this, and DOD and NASA are going to have to go to him and go, we can't, boss. We're stuck. Now, it's still going to cause Elon a lot of trouble. NASA is going to start like holding his launch licenses, all the bullshit that they play at the low level, sort of static, crappy way that they'll do things off the radar screen. But, as my friend Mario Nicolais just said, he goes, at this point, Elon's like 3 tweets away from DHS kicking his door down and deporting him.
Yes, I think that's right. I want to play some more audio of Trump. This time, Trump accuses Musk of turning against the bill only because it cuts tax credits and subsidies for green energy. Listen to this.
But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden, he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars.
Rick, what's funny to me about this is that Trump simply assumes that everyone has thoroughly corrupt motives for everything they do simply because he does. I actually don't think this is why Musk attacked the bill. I think his reasons are really terrible, but they weren't that. But still, this is pretty damn revealing on Trump's part. Your thoughts?
It does betray, or it does show that Trump's betrayals are always this craven sort of combination of corruption and ego. When his ego is being stroked, he's fine with any kind of the most Byzantine, lavish corruption under the sun. When he gets in a disagreement with somebody, things go crazy, and he attacks. But it all comes down to, again, Trump. When Elon is spending $300 million, he's his best friend. When they part company on something, he becomes the target of the MAGA machine. Now, I got to tell you, I just put this thing out a little while ago, giving Elon a piece of advice. Trump's base, the loyalty of Trump's base, and the fear that base puts into Congress, all comes from Twitter. It's the power of Twitter to be a normative force inside of MAGA that is the one unified group in our country at all times behind Trump. Elon can turn that switch off. He can turn that dial down. I think that Trump hasn't thought this through because he rarely thinks anything through. But I think there's a lot to be said here that, we've got 2 guys with a lot of weapons, but Elon probably has more guns right now.
To stay up to date on all the news that you need to know, there's no better place than right here on the DSR Network. And there's no better way to enjoy the DSR Network than by becoming a member. Members enjoy an ad-free listening experience, access to our Discord community, exclusive content, and more. Use code DSR2025 for a 40% off discount on sign-up at thedsrnetwork.com/buy. That's code DSR2025 at thedsrnetwork.com/buy. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
That's amazing, considering that Trump controls the federal government and the law enforcement bureaucracy.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. And what's interesting about that point, I think, is that is why Elon Musk bought Twitter, right? It was
100%.
To get Donald Trump elected president. That's why he bought it, and it worked.
It will end up, if Elon reshapes this battlefield. Look, he could turn again on the back end of Twitter. We know that he boosts and deboosts accounts all the time. We know that he elevates certain content and knocks certain content below the threshold of visibility all the time. He could easily turn Twitter into a machine right now that bashed the tax bill and endlessly bashed the tax bill, and killed it. You want to take revenge on Trump? That's a good way to kill the bill. You want to show Trump that you've got the power. Take away his signature piece of legislation.
Right. He could use Twitter to absolutely slaughter these Republicans in Congress, is what I think you're saying, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And they won't have the protection of Trump to back them up.
Can you explain that? Like, what would that look like? In other words, you really think he should tweak the algorithm so that Trump loses his clout on there?
Sure. He tweaked it when he bought the platform. He tweaked it so that Trump and MAGA content and alt-right content got boosted dramatically. This isn't debatable. We know this happened.
Yes, absolutely.
When he wants to befriend somebody, they get a big boost. When he wants to knock somebody out, they get deboosted. There's probably another technical word for it, but I don't know what it is. This idea that he should use his platform, it's the classic question of power. Power exists when you use the power that you have. It doesn't exist if you don't. And what's he going to do? Say no, I'm gonna stay fair and balanced and keep this platform weighted so Trump and his people get boosted. He can also, and this is something I heard from an actual Twitter employee about a year and a half ago, who said to me, "We know who the bot farms are. Some get taken out and some do not." And he could switch off the pro-Trump bot universe probably with 3 clicks. And it would change the political climate in this country almost instantaneously. And I think Trump has not thought this through. I don't think his people have thought this through. I don't think anybody's thought this through on Trump's team. But then again, I also think that Trump's team is being absolutely railed by this news right now. And they are completely out of control.
Yeah, I want to return to a point you made earlier about whether Trump actually has a big gun against Musk or not. I want to read what Trump posted on Truth Social. He said, quote, "The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it." So here again, Trump just shows, he thinks everybody's corrupt. Why, Biden should have done it because he, if he had just thought to be corrupt like me, he would have done that. So Trump, can't for a second envision making any decision around any conception of what's in the national interest, right? Everything's up for corrupt horse trading or to be used to punish and extort enemies. I got to say, it's pretty funny to see Musk now get victimized by this, isn't it, Rick?
Oh, it is. It's beyond funny to me because he is a guy who was ready to use his power to victimize a lot of Americans. He was ready to use his power to tear down, people who did jobs in this government that were important to the American people. And watching him be on the receiving end of the tornado of Trump's attacks, karma is a bitch, but occasionally she shows up dressed for the garden party. I mean, this guy he is really, in the fuck around and find out. He is well into the finding out phase.
But you think in the end that Trump really can't use the power of the government to punish Musk via the contracts because the space program and other things are just too dependent on him.
Yeah, we are way too dependent on the Falcon platform. The Starlink or Starship isn't there yet, but on the Falcon Heavy and the Falcon 9 platform, they carry something like 95% of all U.S. space payloads for NASA and the military. And it's legitimately a good rocket. It's legitimately like a real good functioning platform, and it's cheap. But man, it is going to be tough to replace those without some real pain at NASA and the DoD. And there's no immediate replacement for them anyway. Like Jeff Bezos can't switch out. ULA doesn't have the rockets on hand to switch out. It's going to be tough for them to pull that off.
Well, you're a Florida guy. You know all this kind of stuff. Well, saving the best for last here. Elon Musk tweeted this, quote, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT." Now, Rick, I find it pretty funny that Elon Musk spent $250 million to elect Trump while knowing something this hideously incriminating about him. It's a striking admission of his own corruption if you accept it at face value. Beyond that, I don't know what to make of this, so I'm turning this one over to you. Like I said, you know how to dissect these pathologies like no one else.
Inside the MAGA world, there is an origin story of Trump's elevation. That origin story started in 2016, where a conspiratorial wing of the party was fed a story. It was a story promoted by guys like Jack Posobiec, and it was the story of Pizzagate, where Hillary Clinton supposedly was the center of a global pedophile ring that was based in a pizza restaurant in Washington, a restaurant with no basement, a restaurant with no ties to anything like that. And that expanded to Jeffrey Epstein, who was close to both Trump, very close to Trump, but also was friendly with the Clintons. This conspiracy theory was a definitional element in this giant undertone in Republican and MAGA messaging that everybody who is opposing us is a pedophile. Everybody who's against us is part of this global child trafficking network. They're all child pornographers or whatever it is. Epstein is the heart of that, and he's talismanic for them in that storyline. Even though Trump and Epstein were close friends, Trump rode on the jet, Trump partied with him. There are contemporaneous quotes by Trump saying Jeffrey is a good guy to party with and he likes his ladies on the younger side. All this creepy, gross stuff for years, right? And at the end of the day, Trump never got held to account for being close to Epstein because they like hived it off in their mind. They're like, nope, didn't happen. It's all fake news. It's not fake. And this idea that we've been hearing for a couple of weeks now that Bondi and Kash Patel and Cam Bongino are slow rolling the Epstein file release has made MAGA very angry. And now this is like, throwing a big old chunk of sodium in the water. It is going to explode. It's going to boil over. It is going to be lit as hail.
It just occurred to me, I didn't even really realize, this is why we're having you on, Rick, to explain how fucking nuts all this is. I didn't realize what Elon was actually saying here. Now I get it. Elon is actually accusing Pam Bondi and Kash Patel of a cover-up on Trump's behalf, right?
Yes.
And the whole idea is to light this fuse that'll blow MAGA to smithereens over this, right?
Look, I keep saying this. Elon has more weapons here than Trump does. And I can envision what's happening in the White House right now. They are in full lockdown. They're in full panic mode. They don't know what to say. They're Susie Wiles and her people will be saying, we've got to end this story, cut it off, stop talking about it. It's going to hurt us. John Thune and Mike Johnson are calling Trump saying, please, please, please stop. This guy will blow this thing up. We want to pass this tax cut for our donors. And look, there is no good outcome here for Trump. None at all. And look, Elon's fucked too, but there is no upside here for Donald Trump. He is in a deep, 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 deep hole.
I want to try to get at what I think this really means, which is that one of the big reasons that Elon has such big guns against Trump is because he knows how MAGA actually works, right? He knows how to push its buttons. And both literally, like with Twitter, like he can manipulate the algorithms to boost certain people and, turn off other bot, farms or whatever, but also figuratively, right? He knows exactly.
He's of that culture.
Right.
He's of that troll culture. And I mean, look, there are two normative forces in Trump's base, Twitter and Fox News. Elon controls a lot of the mind share of the Republican base. And, he's out talking about maybe I should form a new political party. Maybe I should advertise against people supporting the bill. We are in the middle right now of a cataclysmic political change on the right in this country. This is, I mean, the last 6 hours it's been about 6 hours since this broke. You and I are recording this in the late afternoon on Thursday. But I think this is going to continue to unfold and expand because Musk is not stopping. He's been tweeting while we've been talking. It's like 4 tweets in the last 5 minutes. He's bang, 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 bang. So we're going to have a lot of additional excitement, I think, as we go through the weekend, because it is truly, it is truly insane. My favorite tweet of the day is Kanye West just says, "Bros, please know we love you both so much."
Yeah, that'll work. Oh, Elon Musk just unloaded on the tariffs. The Trump tariffs will cause a recession in the second half of this year.
Why, yes, he did.
Well, so, it's interesting. Yeah. So with Susie Wiles and all the Trump insiders, the ones who come from the, the old wing of the Republican Party, that old Republican Party that you belonged to, Rick, back in the day, right? This is the sort of shit that's going to absolutely drive them ballistic with panic.
The free market guys and the low tariff guys and the small government guys were already having a very bad year. It is about to get much, much worse.
Right. And I just want to go back to a key point about Musk having all this firepower, which is that he understands the pathologies, right? He's got his finger on the nerve centers. He knows how crazy this world is, and he knows how to aggravate the crazy. You know what I mean?
He knows how to poke that crazy. He knows how to hit that combination of a fear in the MAGA amygdala and rage and arousal about, they love to get revved up about real and fake moral crises, and I think he's just really equipped to play some major fuck around here.
Right, because he's very trusted among a certain component of MAGA who will see him as someone who knows deep secrets, right? Now, whether he does or not is irrelevant, right? He's seen as knowing these deep secrets. So if he says something like Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are covering up this Epstein scandal in which Trump is in the files, that, sets off this massive fire.
It is going to at the minimum, it requires the White House to say, no, he isn't in the Epstein files. And most voters equate a denial with a full confession of guilt in this country. It's so crazy.
Well, so I will say a big MAGA influencer, Ian Miles Chong, seems to agree that Elon's got the power here. He reacted to the Epstein claim by saying, "My money is on Elon. Trump should be impeached and replaced with J.D. Vance." Now that's, the rumor, or I don't know, maybe.
Man, if you're J.D. Vance tonight, you're like, I don't know much about the 25th Amendment, but when I...
Right. Well, the conspiracy theory in some quarters is that the tech oligarchs are manipulating this whole thing so that Trump gets into the White House, gets J.D. Vance in there, and then Trump gets taken out in some form, figuratively, of course, and then is replaced by the tech oligarchs' real dark choice, J.D. Vance.
Yeah. I mean, look, this country would not be better off with Donald Trump being in power or J.D. Vance. It's two separate pathways of hell. But, man, it is that alone is going to cause Trump inside the White House to begin going after J.D. Vance and to go after, and maybe not publicly, but to begin to be paranoid about Vance and worry about who Vance is meeting with and who he's talking to, and so on.
You know what I keep coming back to, and I tweeted this, is that one thing that continues to be a reliable guide to human affairs is no honor among thieves.
None whatsoever.
These guys, man, where does it end up? Can you kind of play this out a little bit more, Rick? I guess what I hear you saying is that ultimately Trump hasn't thought this through. It's going to blow up in his face for a couple of reasons. One, he doesn't actually have the big gun to use against Musk because Musk's companies really are deeply woven into the fabric of the federal government and the national security establishment, right?
Yep. And look, I don't think that we're going to see Elon Musk swing to the left or become a progressive or become a Democrat or anything like that. He is a right-wing weirdo. But he is going to be, this is one of those examples where the cat fight is going to be so loud and so ugly and so mad that, I'm going to keep encouraging Elon to stand up for his honor.
That is very big of you, Rick, I have to say. And the second reason that Trump could come to regret this is that Musk actually has his finger on the pulse of MAGA and knows how to kind of fuck with all these people and their heads, and in a way that nobody else does.
He does. He has control of the algorithmic power that has given Trump such a phenomenal degree of control over his base, and thus the Congress.
So where does it go? Play it out?
If Elon puts his finger on the trigger here and starts to de-emphasize Trump and starts to de-emphasize the MAGA bot universe and all that stuff, I think it ends up diminishing the chances of this bill passing. And that hurts Trump in a very serious and deep way. If he doesn't pass this bill, he's burned a lot of power.
Is there any chance the two of them sit down and say, okay, this is getting out of control, we got to work this out?
Trump will never, his ego will not let him do that.
So this continues.
Yeah, this is going to drag on until somebody is a bloody political corpse. And my money at the moment is on Elon only because of his control of the platform. Trump is also, look, Trump has lost a step in the last 6 months, even more so in the last 2 years. And Elon can sit up jacked up on ketamine all night and tweet until his fingers fall off. And I don't think Trump has the same energy level and focus that Musk does.
Well, I think you've actually got your finger on what pisses off MAGA, and when you say that,
I have some skill in pissing off MAGA. This is a true statement.
When you say that Trump is losing his energy and losing his step,
it's weak, sad, low energy, low T.
Well, Rick, we knew that you'd be able to explain these pathologies to us, and you didn't disappoint. Rick Wilson, thanks so much for coming on, man. Always good to talk to you.
Great being with you, my friend. Talk to you soon.